My name is Taja Ahmed, and this is my story for Colourful Heritage. I came to this country when I was 7, and that's when I started primary school and things. We come from a place called Karia. It's between Lahore and Islamabad, just it's in between near Jhelum. I was born in Karia, 1962, and yeah, my dad came. That's the year that my dad came here, but I was just born in Karia at that time. That's the year he arrived in Britain. By profession, he was a joiner, and he came to London and he's tried to settle in Birmingham and down south areas, but I think through work some people recommended that Glasgow was a good place to go to, and then I don't know how long it was, whether it was 6 months or a year or whatever, but then he moved to Glasgow. And then that's where he made his home. I understand that he stayed in Scotland Street. He stayed in Scotland Street. Apparently there were flats there, and what do you call it? He lived with a lot of people then as well. But then in 1969 he called us over, and when he called us over he had to have a house where, you know, for the family, and we bought our first house. He bought his first house, which was in Glasgow Green. It was Greenhead Street. It was just a few other Asian families there, they were fairly new as well. So we were all in the same boat. You only remember all the good things from those days, from childhood, as in I went to a school called Strathclyde Primary. It was just by the riverside, by the River Clyde, and it was a fair distance. And what I noticed is our parents they let us be independent, and we were allowed to explore and be independent. So they showed us the way, go to school, and they showed us this is the way to school. So what you do, how you get there after that is not their problem. They let us explore and be independent and streetwise. They let us make the mistakes and become streetwise. They let us do that. As for mosque, again, it was a fair distance away, by walking. It was from Greenhead Street to Gorbals, and often there was a bus that went, but more than often we just ran to the mosque, and it would take us 20 minutes or something, but I would just go to the mosque. Then there came a time when my dad said, no, you've got too much to be doing, just leave mosque. So we weren't really encouraged to go regularly, as it were. I find that society then, it wasn't seemed to be dangerous. It wasn't deemed that it's a dangerous society we live in. It was more like you're out and you deal with it. So I remember having to make a lot of discoveries on my own, as in the family were like from the same village in Pakistan, so they were a close family in Langside. So from Bridgeton to Langside, when you're only about 9-10-year-old, to be allowed to just go on your own accord and then come in the late hours at night, like 11 o'clock at night, make your own way back. It's something unheard of nowadays that we don't do with our children, but we were allowed to do that then. Maybe they were just wanting you to kind of discover things for yourself, opposed to spoon feed you. We're kind of protect our children in a bubble nowadays with all rights and this and that and everything, which are good in their own right, but there's a limit to how much protection a person should have. And I find that although in Britain we overprotect our children, you find that in other countries they don't do that as much. And I think perhaps that's a wee bit of what they brought with them, as to say, this is how things are done. Grow up. This is when you're grown up, you're allowed to sort of explore and kind of learn, make your own mistakes and learn, and they give you that room. Nowadays we don't give children that room. And the sad fact is that when children when they find their independence, and when children are become of free will and are able to go and find this, explore for themselves, they kind of go too far. Then they don't know their limits. Whereas when we were younger and we did all these kind of things, go out and be allowed to come out at whatever time, and we knew we were obeying our parents because our father has told us you have to go there and you have to come back, and they put us through hardship. So therefore, we didn't need, we knew what that was. We didn't need to explore when we get older and we found our own independence. It wasn't a new thing for us. There wasn't an adventure for us anymore. My dad was a joiner by trade. Well, he was a person of many talents. He was a joiner by trade, and he for the work for the shops he used to make counters and shop fronts and things like that, and signboards and things. He was a bit of an artist, so he did a lot of calligraphy and things. He was a photographer. In London Road in Bridgeton, we used to have a photography shop. My dad's name was Aksi, and he had the photography shop on London Road, and because of that, I would only occasionally visit because I was at school then, and so he got to know a lot of the community through people coming to the shop, especially when they want passport photographs done and things, and you know it's someone that would understand you. So my dad was very well known in the community. He was one of the my role and my aim always was to keep them within the Islamic community. So even if it was at the Muslim house with the Arab Muslims or Asian Muslims, Pakistani Muslims, anyone, as long as when I grew up, I just wanted them to be in an Islamic environment, wherever that was. So I took them to every circles, all the circles, every school, weekend schools. So that was my goal, and alhamdulillah, you know, they enjoyed it. I tried to make it fun for them, to the degree when I was taking my son, I would take his cousin with him as well, so that they had company and it would make it more fun for them. So I was trying to find, our job was to make it enjoyable for them and to interact and keep their faith. I am a Muslim who lives in Scotland, so Scottish Muslim might be the word that I would use to describe myself. Although I still have love for my country, I still have love for Islam, so my identity, I would say Muslim, and that's it. Because my heart is still with my Asian community, isn't it? My heart and my loyalties would still lie with the Asian community, as well as my non-Muslim friends, because they're the ones that have brought us up. They're the ones that have toned us and brought us and made it, given us values to be kind and caring and sharing. It's all the Scottish school teachers who have embedded all these good qualities within us. So it's equal for me to have love for my Muslim friends, families, and my Scottish friends and families. So most of my friends were English friends. There was non-Muslim friends, most of them. I didn't have any Muslim friends at school. I didn't have any Muslim friends at school. It was always non-Muslim friends. The few other Muslim people that went to school, they were in the different years than me, so I hardly ever saw them. But I think it was my parents that just shaped me, I would say. For the children growing up today, my main message would be that appreciate how your parents have made the change to come here, and the reason why you are in the state that you are, you're taking everything for granted. The reason why you are as you are today is because of the difficulties that they have suffered in the past to get you here. So appreciate what you have, acknowledge the blessings that you have, and do good for yourself. Educate yourself well and integrate within the society. Be thankful. So do good and share with your non-Muslim friends the beauty of Islam. Share with your non-Muslim friends the beauty of Islam. You have that role to play in society. You are Scottish citizens. You know the beauty that Islam holds. Share that with everyone, and if Scotland has given you something good, you give back to Scotland good.